Hey there, have another league for you. I didn't actually record the league, but I'm gonna do the recap because it was actually really fun. Uh, the list is basically Prague's one. I just swapped the Mons, Bashalik Mons for Dismember, want some more removal main deck for Barrow-Goyfs, and Eldrazi didn't get anything banned. I thought that was gonna be uh, widely played, and then it did add me another slot in the sideboard, which I'm playing Mindbreak Trap because I don't know, thought combo was gonna pop off, and I swapped a Red Elemental Blast for a Magus as well. And the last change, I guess, Fairy for a Relic. Again, because of all the Goyfs, I think this, like, having one Relic should be really neat. And because there are less reanimates running around, I think I can run a Fury over a Pyrokinesis and still have 3 instant speed interactions to kill Nadu and Breakfast and things like that. Um, but yeah, this is the list. I still think Mystic Forge is probably a good deck, so I kept this in for now, but maybe it's not needed. We will find out soon enough. But the league was really fun. Um, Starting with match 1, game 1. Yeah, yeah. Because this was a terrible start for me. One of the worst starts I had in a while. So they start with Tamio, and I'm alright. Play my lackey. They have the days, fine. Uh, but then they have the brainstorm as well. So yeah, attack first, of course. Get some value there, and straight to brainstorm, and get that going up. That seems fair, right? Uh, Go to Seer Slicer. I think Seer Slicer is better than Battle Cry here. But they have another days, and I'm like, oh, should I just concede this? This is terrible. They're gonna win in like 3 turns, but I have a decent hand, so let's see what they do. They just ponder. I do have some options here. Could play Trawler, could play Matron, uh, but I decided their Underground Sea is down. I can deal 1 damage here, and this gives me more flexibility next turn because this Bombardier was ever gonna get played, was always gonna get played, and this I think I made a mistake here. Maybe there were a lot of options I could have done, so I started with this in hand, right? 4 mana in total, and I could matron for something uh, and throw at Goyf and swing for 1. I could play Battlecry and Expert Thamio and then throw 4 at Thamio and kill it. Um, but I'm like, oh, I can deal 3 damage to Thamio and kill it, and then attack um, Thamio and fling Expert on Nethergoyf because it's a 3/4, right? So that's what I went to do. But I didn't realize that if I killed Tamio, the Nethergoyf gets to be a 4/5, and then I was like, oh shit, what do I do now? Well, still, I think I did I threw it? I think I threw it. Yes. Wire you can, right? So 4 still, which is ridiculously high. They do attack, which I think is very, very odd. Let's uh, wait again, because like they want to protect Tamio. So I think this attack was a bit reckless, but let's um, play with what we got. And then I draw a land, which or a ringleader. Yeah, the ringleader. So I could just ringleader and swing and hit Tamio for a bunch, or I could matron for something. I did went for matron because this way I can also activate Vital Cry Goblin, which basically nullifies Tamio, and yeah, just went for another Bombardier because the best card in the deck. And this way, also, we'll see what they do. Well, if I get my trigger, and it's really neat that the creature can actually attack, because it triggers the way the triggers stack. Um, and I can kill the Tameo. And I decided to kill the Nethergrave. Um, I could take them to 11, but this way they can play the Nethergrave back, but they would have to cast to use 3 mana for that. And in a game like this, I hope that they don't have time to use like the resources, and I have quite enough mana to play another land, but they decide not to um, play the second Netherglyph, which is a bit scary. And then I have some options again. Could again Ringleader and ensure that I can kill this with just my Ringleader, but they only have one blocker, so I decide to go for Broadside. They petty Tef my Battle Cry, which again I don't really like that play, but this allows me to attack for 4. And I don't think I do anything. I just play the Seer Slicer now. Gets days, it's fine. And I don't think I throw the token. Yeah, because creatures on the board is powerful. So they get Scry again. I don't want to go super low, so I do choose to block. And they don't play the Goyf again and just die. Maybe they forgot they had Nethergoyf? They can play this, right? So any number of cards from the graveyard for 4 more types. Yeah, yeah, they could play it. So either way, I think even if they played the Nethergoyf like there or the previous turn instead of bouncing something, I would still have won this game. But yeah, beating a turn 1 Tameo on the play, daze your creature, flip Tameo, daze your second creature, it felt very good. And then I keep a interesting hand, I think. I would be like, I'll just Pyroblast anything that they do, but Drew Lucky, I don't want to be Wastelanded turn 1. So decide to go for Mountain. I think this is correct. And they have just a removal spell. It's completely fine. I do go for... So, I thought about playing Battlecry Goblin instead of Seer Slicer, specifically because of Bowmaster. I don't know if it's correct or not. Battlecry does need more work to become online, but it does survive Bowmaster. Bowmaster has been very annoying because we put more X1s in the deck. And I also, yeah, I also play the Cavern of Souls, which I think is correct at this turn. No, the previous turn, I mean. But this is what happened. What do I go for here? So now I play the Battle Cry, so I can block some stuff. Seer Slicer is not going to create any tokens to him for that. And I did not fetch the Rakus Theater for some reason. I think I should have, but I drew a land, so let's go Ringleader. It just gives me the most amount of options the following turns, and also it doesn't give them a target for Bowmaster. And for the same reason is why I don't attack with anything. So that was quite important, like just not attacking. This time, for some reason, I decide to attack. I think I have the mana open to expert something, and I'm gonna get a 1/1 if I do get to attack as well. So I pump. I don't feel like I need to deploy any of my cards at this time. And they just double block. I'm like, okay. I decide to expert one of their creatures, because even if they do have a removal for this, like if they had another bowmaster, they would have cast it already. Um, if they have a removal spell to kill Battlecry Goblin, I'm completely fine with that. My hand is very good, and then there's one less removal spell for Sear Slicer. And this develops the board, at least. Like, 1-1 is not terrible. And they do decide to just push it so they can save their Bowmaster. They can destroy my land. I imagine they have counter spells there um, to be wasting while not playing anything. And on just 2 lands while I still have 4 left. Um, I think I go for Sear Slicer because I had the read that they didn't have Bowmasters because they didn't play last turn. And yeah, they had shot the Sheriff instead. So this let me go to work while still hold up Pyroblast. I think that they have days, so that's why I didn't Pyroblast there. And this does let me Rakkus Theater right now. And that was interesting as well, because I think they have days and maybe a force as well. I have enough things on board that I don't think I need to get more value, but I don't necessarily want to cast Matron for it to be forced or consigned to memory, and I have to Power Blast, and then they have a daze, and it all goes to shit. So I just leave the Lackey on top because it's a cheap threat. They still have to deal with my board. They drew a Bowmaster, so they get to kill one of my creatures. I am going to attack, and I'm going to do the same Munition Expert thing if they do decide to double block the Ringleader. They don't, and yeah, so I can hold up my stuff. There's no reason to expert there. So now they finally decide not to waste land, and I'm like, they're at 9, they're passing the turn. I'm going to put some pressure on, because this is how I win, right? Also, if I kill that, I have the Lackey in play that would get Matron, and then they decide to wasteland me. I could have Pyroblast to consign a memory, but still I think they have a daze, and I think I can save my Pyroblast for later. And I decide to attack everything apart from Lackey. If they don't have a removal, yeah, if they don't have removal, they can't really block these things. So I think this is correct. And the Lackey, it does provide value to me because of this Matron, which I'm still not going to cast because I'm not in a lot of danger of dying. So I'm like, let's develop this Vial and see how it goes. Also, there's no reason to Pyroblast this bounce spell because it's not winning the game. I'm gonna book a Trawler. Book a Trawler is quite cool because it could either be a creature and try to remove their graveyard and well, deny any Murktide or anything like that, or I can go for the Matron finally. And I decide to go for the Matron because they have 3 cards. If they have a Force of Will, they're going to be left with 1 card in hand, and that's going to be... that had to be a daze for the Force of Will to actually stop my Matron. If they have a consigned to memory and a daze, I'm a bit on the shit, but they didn't have it. Maybe casting this Matron was a bit premature. I actually think if I was going to do this again, I would have waited for Vio to get to 3, because they are dead on board already. There's no really reason to put more things out there, and also I could just Pyroblast any Brainstorm or Ponder that they happen to find them like a Barrowgoyf or something that could, try to turn the tide. But yeah, this was it. 2-0 against Blue-Black Tempo. And then this match was awesome. This was so much fun. It's one of the funnest matches I played in quite a while. So opponents start with Violent. Apparently, a very famous player that plays a lot of standstill, and that's what they're doing here. So they have to force my Vile, remove counterspell. I'm like, ooh, up against control, cool, interesting. And then they go turn to turn to standstill, and I'm like, I don't think I can play this game. I could just drop my lands and go from there. They only have 3 cards in hand, but I decide against it. Usually, it is better to just drop standstill. Their standstill deck is usually better at standstill than you are. I did have quite a few lands which could allow me to develop my mana base a bit further before breaking it, but I think keeping the pressure on while they have to deal with my threats, clear the board every turn, and yeah, it seems better. And well, then they drop Strange too while I have a munitions expert in play. If it was a 2-2 or something, I would just have been fine with it. But because it's a 1-1, I decided against it and went for Vile. Whatever it is, Vile, they use a Teferi. I don't know how many answers to Vile they would have. They could force this, but Vile could be my best weapon against that deck. Uh, Also, I don't want to wasteland them. I kind of don't want them to wasteland me as well. But if they wasteland me, at least any other land that I have, I may keep it in play. Um, and also with all these cards that they have as well, like I don't think wastelanding Tundra would be all that profitable. So they go for Teferi and go up, which I'm quite happy with because I draw a Cavern and I'm like, ooh, great! So I can attack Teferi for 3, so it cannot bounce my Vile or anything. I get some Goblins and I'm like, yeah, this is going well. They're gonna go to 7 cards in hand and have a Teferi of 3. But I'm like, this is not bad. They get more lands and yeah, they Vile up. And here I think I just make the mistake that cost me the game. Because I did not think about the play they could do, because they pass with all this mana app, and they have the Teferi effect, which I forgot. So I forgot about this. And I'm like, ooh, I can matron for... Yeah, I can matron for Ringleader, actually, which is like the play usually against blue-white control, and just keep the train going. I could, yeah, matron for Ringleader. If one of these creatures attack, I have a Seer Slicer to put into play from Vile. There are options, but I just decide to go for Muxus. I'm like, oh, this is great. I can Muxus. And they're like, yeah, go. They got these creatures, and they're like, yeah, blow everything up before I attack, so they know about Seer Slicer, like how the card works. I decide to go Teferi, but I think killing Teferi might be defensible. You go for Jace, wasteland me twice, which is pretty broken. Like, they played 3 wastelands this game. Draw a really bad card, and I don't remember here. I think it's just Ringleader or Broadside, and try to kill Jace, but they have a force. So yeah, I didn't like this last 2 turns of plays that I have. done. Um, I think playing the Muxos was very premature. I think getting broadside was also not optimal. Because yeah, they're gonna brainstorm one more time, but getting a ringleader to come from Vio, it's probably much better than having something forced. I could have played Seer Slicer last turn, like Seer Slicer and Prospector, and here I draw a Dismember, and I'm like, ugh, what a match to draw uh, Dismember. This would be so much better, especially Mons. So this is the first showing of Dismember, yeah, which is uh, oh, makes me think that it's pretty bad, but it does makes up for it. I think we'll see eventually. But so they start going up, and now they have cards in hand. They have a Jace that is pretty much out of reach unless I draw Bombardiers now, and they don't have removal spell. Um, yeah, but I draw a land, and this is pretty much it. I don't. Yeah, this I do. I just concede soon. Yeah, they draw 3 cards with Lauren reviewed, and I'm like, yeah, cool. This is it. But then on to game 2. So I made a couple of mistakes there, and I'm like, okay, tighten up. We can beat Standstill. And I'm like, ooh, this is a cool hand. They do have Wastelands, but I'm like, I can. I don't know what I'm going to Pyroblast. Mostly because I do want Seer Slicer turn 2. I don't know if I should Seer Slice turn 2. Because they can source Plowshares and then play Standstill, and that would be my nightmare. But yeah, I played the Seer Slicer. So let's see what happens. I could have waited a turn for the Seer Slicer, but they don't have the Standstill, and they don't have a removal spell, at least as of now, which is great. And they don't Wasteland me, which is doubly great. So they do let me attack, so 100% they don't have removal spell. But now I'm thinking, well, they're gonna have Supreme Verdict in turn 4. Not that I can do anything about it, because I don't have the game plan. But they they have goddamn Timeless Dragon, and they fetched 4 of Volcanic. So I'm like, what is going on here? This is they play red as well, and why would they fetch 4 of Volcanic? Now they decide to double Wasteland me, and I'm like, well, let's put some pressure on. I don't know when I'm gonna get a land again, and I can Fire Blast any cantrip that they have, which I would in a heartbeat. And Seer Slicer is like, yeah, I'm gonna put a boy in play every turn. What you gonna do about it? And there's nothing because they fetch red source, so they don't have. I mean, they have white available because they got a Tundra there. But you know, Executor is fine. Oh jeez, I'm thinking a lot. Or is my computer just slow? Or it just bugged. Oh no, it's going. There you go. And they have a Pyroclasm to kill all my creatures, and I'm like, oh my god, this is how I lose. They have Tireless Dragon there, ready to go once they have a couple more lands. But then Ancient Tomb. Gee, I missed Ancient Tomb. I played a couple of lists without it, and I'm like, Ancient Tomb is just too broken. I decided to go for Sling. Putting the bodies on the board is really good. Even if they have a plow for it, I'm still dealing damage, and I'm bringing in a lot of pressure from next turn onwards. So playing Sling is definitely the correct choice here. They go for the Teferi up to go to 5 so it doesn't die. Don't necessarily think it's wrong, but I do have the Ringleader to be able to attack for 5. Here, I could have attacked them to take them to 8, and I have 4 creatures, so virtual 4. Um, but I decide against it. I feel like my hand is still quite good. I don't have to rush into winning this game. They do have things they can play. I wish I have more red sources, but they don't have another land, and this was game 2. I do like how I played this one, in contrast to the first one. And this is game 3. So this it's a hand that is like I wouldn't keep against any other deck. I think maybe another, not even other blue white controls, because they play Tamio. But I don't think that he's playing Tamio. And I'm like, sure, I'm gonna keep a very slow hand that has loads of lands, and let's see what happens. And what happens is that they decide to go for turn 2 standstill. This time I have 4 lands in play in my hand. And do we just draw another? No, I draw a Lackey. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna play the standstill game because I have all these lands and I can do this. I probably should have played the Boggart Trawler. I mean the Bog. I don't know, Boggart Bog in there. But I didn't, and I think I do the following turn. So I get a Vial. I'm still like, yeah, still not gonna do anything. They also don't do anything. You can go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, so they're developing their lands. I'm developing their lands. We're all happy. This usually favors the control player, but with Goblins, you have caverns, you have a lot of card advantage as well, and you can try and play this game, but then they have a dragon, so all of a sudden under standstill, jeez, they oh god, they they can have a 4/4, which I'm not very happy about. So let's see what's on top. And the Bombardiers, I'm like, Bombardiers is a good card. Let's keep that. And yeah, plenty of options here. Plenty of options to go around. They're gonna draw to 8 cards, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I can keep on not playing things now that they have a clock on. So I'm gonna start a Vial. I have no idea how I play this now. I just play my lackeys and the Seer Slicer, and I'm terrified for Pyroclasm. But kind of do what you have to do. If they don't Pyroclasm, I'm like, oh, maybe if I draw land, I can Matron Broadside, but they have a Wasteland. But they don't have Pyroclasm, which is great for me. No. Ah, shoot. Sorry. I meant to press the other button. So a lot happened there that I don't remember. Jesus. What was this? I played the Broadside. They let one of the lackeys connect. And this game, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play the long game. I have Vial ticking up. I have lands in play. I have a board already that I don't have to progress more. So even they block a lackey and they let everything resolve. I'm like, they have probably maybe Pyroclasm and maybe the other card, Verdict. So I decided to throw the other lackey in the dragon and keep most of my board. Yeah, but still, I have enough gas in my hand, and I have a lot of pressure on board as well. even though they have 8 cards. Oh my! So they went for the verdict, and they get the verdict on top again and play a powder keg. So I'm like, oh, my vial, it's not gonna be long for this world. Maybe I can throw it at them sometimes. It's anytime. And I draw an Ancient Tomb, which is fantastic. Again, Ancient Tomb just being super clutch. Um, very very happy with 3 still in the build. And I go for more card advantage. No reason to play the Bombardiers yet. Um, don't draw 2-drop, which is slightly annoying. And I decide not to play the Skirt Perfector because they have a powder keg, and I think they're just gonna blow up my vial because that's what powder keg is there for. And it just happened instantly. So they realize Ancient Tomb's my best land right now. So Wasteland me, and they get another dragon. But this is fine because I have answers to the dragon. Love drawing another land, and you can see again just playing like super slow. I could have cast broadside, attacked, flung ringleader either at the dragon or at them, But I'm like, yeah. If they had Pyroclasm, they would have used their last turn. Um, so I know they have Supreme Verdict. If they want to Verdict, at least I can give 4 damage. I can deal 4 damage to them, and come in with haste the next turn. Especially if I draw another land, I can attack for 4. They have a swords though, which is a bit annoying because it does make me need to develop the board more than I want to, because I know that they have Supreme Verdict. But this game is just going like, oh, I'm having so much fun playing this. But I think this is it. So I get a land, and I get a red Elemental Blast. Oh no, there's another turn. They go for hard card Force of Will. I have a 1 mana Force of Will. They let me attack, and I go for everything. They block, and this time, because I have a second Bombardiers, I'm like, I'm gonna go to your face. They're gonna go to 3. They are going to have to Verdict their turn unless they find a Pyroclasm. So I'm like, there's not really a point of killing this Timeless Dragon. So there's the attack first. Why not? Got that Fire Blast damage there. And Verdict, and they have still 3 cards in hand, 3 mana. And I draw probably the best card I could draw. Because I'm like, I'm just gonna play and activate this. They force it, then making them go to 2. This was I love this game. Had so much fun. And then we go to match 3. And this is, I think, against Eldrazi. Yeah, I'm like, oh, this is amazing hand. And then, this hand became much worse. But let's see what he can do. And my opponent's just like, yeah, turn 2, Thought-Knot Seer. And here, I know I have the Pyrokinesis in my hand, but I'm like, yeah, Dismember. I'm happy I have the Dismember. I'm going to use this because Pyrokinesis can deal with maybe multiple creatures. It is also free to play when I want to play it. Yeah. And slamming Bombardiers. Next turn, if nothing changes, I can play Battlecry and activate it and swing for a whole bunch. Opponent goes for Fleshraker and a Chalice just to have more, just to make a token. And I'm like, get out of here. They're gonna have quite a lot of mana, and I'm very scared about a lot of things they can do. But I think everything that they do is worse if this Flash Raker stays alive. So just go for it. So they have 2 mana floating and they get a Micro Spawn, which very frustrating. At least they didn't get to exile something, right? Or did they? Yeah, they didn't. So I just play my Battlecry Goblin, and I'm happy with it. Drawing the Lackey was very good because yeah, this was just uh, one of the best draws I could have because I can play it, I can activate Battlecry, I get the token, yeah, and they're pretty much. I don't even know if they're dead here because they're gonna take 3. They can block this 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they're dead. I didn't even realize they were dead. I was thinking like, oh, I'm gonna sacrifice the token to kill this before blocks, so they have to like block Battlecry. But yeah, they were dead. They were dead, and I didn't even notice. But again, they had a really good start. Like turn 1 Chalice blocking my Vial, turn 2 Top Knot Seer, turn 3 Flash Raker into Micro Spawn, and we just did it. Here, I kept really slow hand, but it has removal, and it had a Wasteland, and I'm like, I'm just gonna Wasteland you, and hope to draw red cards for these, this removal spells. Like, I like that these 2 can kill like this and a Flash Raker if they do draw it, but I don't just decide not to draw lands for the rest of the game. So I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll just get Bombardiers, and they just concede. So this was not the most eventful game too. And here I'm quite happy to re-watch these games because I think I may have made some mistakes. So that I would anyone keep this? Because I did. Yeah, that is a question for you all. And let's see how this goes. And I'm like, oh, immediately draw a cavern. Amazing. And I can play Prospector, which is great. And my opponent immediately wasteland my cavern and plays a Tameo. And I'm like, oh, definitely gonna die here. But I'm like, alright, I think having a Seer Slicing play might be better than having just a Prospector. So I play the Ancient Tomb to not get dazed and start to develop my board. And they simply don't draw another land. I don't draw a red source as well. And they don't draw another land. So this game 1 is stupidly silly because it's just Seer Slicer doing its thing. And yeah, that's why it's better than Mogwar Marshall. Look at this. This is just ridiculous. they find the wasteland, find a Rackus Theaters, or Prospector is too slow. I could have a lot of mana, but I'm sure by now they have a Force of Will or something. I think this is the whole game. It's just like nothing happens until, yeah, I have Pyrokinesis. I don't know exactly what to do, but this situation is just too ridiculous. I decided to wait, and yeah, they didn't draw land, and then they just die. The bad part is that I don't know what flavor of tempo of Tameo deck it is. So I would sideboard 1 card differently, but it's gonna come up. This time I'm always like, a lot of games I think it's okay to wasteland even on the draw against Tameo, but because I do have things to play and I do have answers to Tameo even if she flips, I think developing my mana, it's better. They do have it, turn 2 again, but it's fine. Let's have a look. while this is going. Okay, I'll pause there because there's quite a lot of stuff. But I took out the prospectors, the pyrokinesis, and Amuxus for Fury and 3 Pyroblasts. Because I think Fury can kill a flip Tamio, so it is better than Pyrokinesis. And I was like, there's nothing much I want um, other than that. I don't know what kind of like they want, but I really wanted the Relic. So game 3, I put the Relic in for the Muxus because, well, resolving a Muxus against that deck is not the easiest. And yeah, so and I proceed to just draw the Muxus. And I know that they have a Bowmaster, like screaming Bowmasters, but you also just have to attack because there is a world where they just like have counter spells but didn't want to counter spell a Lucky. They have like a removal spell when wants to draw something, and they have the clue as well. So maybe they have like a fatal push and just crack the clue. So I'm like, sure, I will attack. But they have the Bowmaster. And again, Bowmaster being very annoying in this league. Every time it came up, it just like generated a ton of value for my opponent. Um, I decided to keep blue up and have a and start brooding on tokens, but they waste. Yeah, they let me go to my end step, which is great. So I get a token, and I Pyroblast a Ponder because I'm like, if I draw a land, I'm gonna be tapping out, which I do for a Broadside because it's the best card in my deck. But again, if this Muxus could have been a relic, and that would be very good right now because no, they got a Grafe, and their last card is Dismember, so I cannot even attack. I do think it was right to play that instead of Matron there. Have to start putting some pressure. And I get Bombardiers again. Uh, don't think there was a question about it. Again, if this was a relic, I would have played it and maybe cracked it just so these Goifs are gone. And here is rough. And I think I make a mistake in here. So I have to play the Bombardiers because I cannot play Battlecry activated attack for 5. I think that's very bad. Doesn't even create a creature and then die if they have a removal spell for Matron. So I decide to go for Broadside. And I attack and I sacrifice a Matron, which I think is right, but given everything, I actually think I should have gone for the face. The reason is because they are 12, they would go to 7, and next turn I would have lethal. So that is the reason. But I decided to go for Goif. I'm like, maybe they have spent resources bringing it back and giving me time to draw something, and yada yada. And I decided to block again. I think it's correct, but I'm not sure. But now I'm in a situation. I just put myself in a situation that I'm very far from killing them because I don't have that free drop in play. And I probably would have because I'm like, okay, let's try to Muxus, and they have a consigned to memory. So they didn't have a removal spell, and I could have just won the game if I had just been aggressive instead of trying to kill their guy and delay the game and draw something. So that was mistake number 1 there. And Yeah, that Muxus being a relic, I think, would have really helped. This hand was like, yeah, sure, this is great. Uh, Bio resolves, yeah, this is also great. The opponent has a 1/01 Goif, which I'm like, sure, let's just kill that. Um, which sounds great, but it's just okay because yeah, they Totzi's like one of the best cards in the deck. Um, and at this time, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm just gonna hold on to this Matron. I think it's correct given the stages of my hand because I can develop another Vial and play an uncountable Lucky, which I like. But I could have just played Matron, which was also another option. And now come to that spot again, which I'm like, I'm sure that they have Ballmasters. And here is the spot that Dropkick would be great because they don't just play the Ballmaster because they can't, right? Because otherwise I'm not going to attack with Expert. Um, I mean, I'm not going to attack at all. And here I could have played the land and Matron for Dropkick. Again, I don't know if that was going to be correct, but, well, like last time, I feel like I have to attack and take the L from them having Bowmaster. It's not the end of the world because I have the Matron, but I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna let my mana goes to waste, so I'm gonna Matron for something. And here I was actively thinking like, oh, I lost to consigned memory last game, so should I just Matron for something now, or should I have gotten Bombardiers last turn, but then I don't have anything else. I don't have any value. Um, I do think I should have gone for Matron here for Ringleader, but I don't know how much of a difference it would have made. Because there is, let's say I had Matron for a Ringleader while they were tapped out, and then Vios goes 2 and 4, right? I put Ringleader. Yeah, I would have a 2/2, which is actually very, yeah, that would have been much better because 2/2 is very valuable. So they would have 2 less life, and I would have a Ringleader. Let's see if that makes a difference. They'd be at 12. Well, the other bad part also is that I proceed to draw nothing for the rest of the game. Spoiler alert, I am sorry. And again, I'm in that situation where I'm like, oh, I have to attack, and they have the Bowmasters again. Um, I would have a Ringleader in play. They would have played a Bargoyf. I would have drawn nothing again. Yeah, so it wouldn't have mattered given how the game went, but I think it was correct to do. Like, because in case I drew something, would be better for them to have like 4 less life and me having a 2/2 in play than none of those things happening. And yeah, this was already like big nail in the coffin, and I proceed to draw another land. This is all this game was. And then we go to round 5. This one was a bit less uneventful. I had to mulligan on no land, no red source, and no vial. And I, given the shape of this hand, decided to go with like with vial. And I'm like, oh my god, monasteries to the spear. People are actually playing burn, and I'm a bit conflicted here because when playing against burn, a really important thing is to fetch basics, and if you can, leave wasteland up So if you have other known basics, you can wasteland your own land in case of a price of progress. And here I was like, there's no chance in hell that they didn't dome me for free to do one more damage with Monastery. They're just gonna let that mana go to waste. So I just been that Muxus because I'm sure that this lackey's not long for this world, and it wasn't. So kudos to doing that. I do give them a turn to like price of progress me for 4 and get rid of their vial and draw that dismembering, and I'm like, ugh. At least I can pay for a black. But my opponent is like super flooding. Um, I do take the risk here, like I'm just dead to double price of progress. But I don't think I can just attack for 2 and then next turn activate. Uh, I do think like trying to kill them ASAP. It's probably better. Was really scared, but yeah, you see like they didn't miss a land drop, and that shouldn't happen to Burn. And had to use a Fire Blast to kill one of my creatures. So here I can leave the Wasteland up and get a Broadside, and that is it. Yeah, they just drew way too many lands. But it is scary. It's scary like when you tap out. I don't know if lists are playing Price of Progress, but yeah. So let me start this again and go through the mulligans. Because mulliganing against Burn is quite important. Like, there's no way in hell I can keep this hand. No way. It does nothing ever. And then, I don't know how many times I have to. Okay. And then, similarly, this is very bad. 2 fetch land. This is like 2 damage to me already. And a tap land that just produces black with no easy removal spell. I'm like, no, this is not good enough. And I'm like, okay, this is fair. Ancient Tomb's gonna go to the bottom because I do not want to be taking 3 damage. And the Prospector as well, because I prefer to have 3 lands than Prospector. And here, I could have not played the Lackey, because Seer Slicer can be a better card if I don't draw anything. And then I have the Lackey to pitch to Seer Slicer. But I didn't do that. I think either way is fine. I don't think there is a right or wrong answer. Them not attacking me, well, it is correct. And here, the important part, attack first, just because maybe they Fire Blast my creature after I Pyroblast them, and then Seer Slicer is gonna get the token. There goes Seer Slicer being cool again. I'm left with the token. Draw another land. I'm like, alright, cool. So we're just looking at each other. They decided to dome me with the Rift Bolt, and I'm like, sure, but now you cannot attack with Goblin Guide, so that's a bit awkward for you. Yeah, I think they could have done it differently. Until that they do attack, and I see Omniscience Expert, and I'm like, sure, I'm gonna take 2 damage here and kill both of their creatures. And then still have a removal spell for an inevitable 3rd creature, which they do have another Eidolon. It's a bit annoying, because it deals me damage. I decided not to maybe lose the game if they have a boat, so I wait for them to attack, block, and go for the damage. This way they can kill the Lackey. Yeah, this was a mistake. Actually, that was a mistake. So, what I should have done is play the Expert, target Eidolon, because Then if they want to kill a creature like they killed a lackey, I can still block with Munitions Expert and kill Eidolon. Yeah, yeah, pretty bad. But they didn't have it, alright? So, you know, pays to be good and draw a Battle Cry and still have the Wasteland mana to not die to. I mean, I would die to Price of Progress right now because it's 8 damage, it's 6 damage plus 2 from Monastery Enter, but they didn't have it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to. I do think I had to activate it because otherwise the game would just go on. And the one removal spell that they did have was a Fire Blast, or yeah. Now I know that they don't have a Price of Progress, so I just activated it because they're dead. Or no, not because they're dead, because I can kill their creature, and I'm like, okay, they don't play anything. And that was it. That was it. Yeah, 4-1. We beat Blue Black Tempo, Standstill, and Eldrazi. Couple of very good draws from Eldrazi and Blue Black Tempo, and we lost to Blue Black Tempo. Bitburn as well, but that doesn't really count. I really enjoyed, I think, having the Dismember. Like, it was great one game. It didn't do anything one game that I don't think it was gonna win anyway. And I liked having the extra sideboard space. This way, I'm on 23, 7, 29. So 31 goblins in the main deck, which is fine. Would love to have a couple more, but I'm quite happy with this. I'm really happy with the mana base. Ancient Tombs have been amazing. Rakus Theater has been very good. Not too punishing. Could see myself changing the sideboard. Do think Cage is really good, and probably want to experiment with maybe a second one. Because Blue Black Tempo. Or just a different approach towards it, because it's not as easy as it should be, the matchup, I think. I haven't paid attention to the mana base. I don't know if bringing in Magus is a good idea or not. I don't know if... I think Disruptor Flute's still warranted. I don't know if No Rod's still warranted in this new metagame. But... alright. Yeah, this was it. Let me know what you think of this league. And I'll see you next time. Bye.